After these last couple of first days in the Heist League, Grinding Gear Games actually listened to all of the player feedback, and not only did they fix a lot of crashes and bugs with the heist mechanic, but also they reduced the amount of guards that will pile up on your way out, waiting in front of the doors at the tactical choke points, and they removed the generation of alert level from killing any monsters at all. So for all of those of you who have been saving up their contracts and blueprints, I made a little video where I go over the basics in Heist, how to maximize your gains and get fat returns. Hi guys, and welcome to another video. My name's CatmasterOP. You know the deal. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday at 4:20 Central European Time on twitch.tv/CatmasterOP. I'd be more than happy if you come and check out the stream and say hi if you have any questions regarding Heist or my builds in general. So in case you haven't engaged with the content at all, maybe you haven't even started the character in the league yet, I'm gonna catch you up on all the mechanics as they are right now, and I'm gonna give you my personal strats, how I complete the heists and how I try to get as much loot out of them as possible. So in 3.12 Heist League, you find rogue markers as well as contracts and blueprints in the world. And these rogue markers are the universal league currency that you can right click in order to create a portal to the special zone that's called the Rogue Harbour. Let's go there right now. So in the Rogue Harbour you encounter like a large group of bandits, so to say, like an assortment of really weird outcasts who dedicate their life to doing heists and robbing all kinds of valuables off of the wealthy people of Rayclast. You're actually the guy who puts everything together and who hires the different mercenaries, as we may call them, heist members, crew members. In order to do a heist, you need blueprints or contracts, but let's start with the contracts first. The blueprints are for bigger heists, so-called grand heists, which have several wings and way more rewards and require way more preparation. But the regular contracts generally are very easy, straightforward, very rewarding, and you don't need to invest any of the rogue marker coins into them. Now, you need a little bit of currency in order to hire the crew member that you need for the job, but you only need one crew member. If you look at the contracts, there is 9 different kind of tile sets in which you can do heists, but they have different requirements, and generally the normal contract heists only have one requirement. So there's one certain set of doors and treasure chests that you need a specific ability in order to open, right? And these abilities don't come from your character, but they come from, you guessed it, the crew members that you can recruit in the Rogue Harbour for your job. So for any given contract, you can walk up to Adia, who is the Wayfinder, and you can press Prepare Heist, and then put the contract in there. It will then tell you, just like it says on the contract, the area level and the area, as well as what the requirements are. So for this particular job, I require a team member that has level 2 deception skills, and when I click this, I can select which of the members are available. Now, I already unlocked all the members, but I think you start with Karst and with Isla, I believe. Anyway, each one of those heist crew members has specific abilities, and you can also equip items onto them. I'll go into that in just a bit, but down here you can see their implicit heist perks. So Karst, for example, is a lockpick, and he's really good. He has abilities like lockpicking, perception, and agility that you can level up, but he caps out relatively early at level 3 lockpicking, level 3 perception, level 2 agility. So as you can see on this overview, every job has the specific rewards that they can provide. So if you do a contract with lockpicking, for example, you know that there's chests with currency and there's chests with map fragments. Now, these icons correspond to the Heist Rogue roster, right? Like here you have Tibbs, you have Karst. I don't know all their names from the top of my head. We got Tolina here. And this will tell you at which level of the specific skill these members will cap out. Which means, for example, Karst can get his lockpicking skills up to level 5, while Tolina and Huck can only get level 3. So yeah, this is a really cool overview made by a Reddit user. I'll link the graphic in the description below. So as I said, each one of the guys has a unique set of abilities and they provide a unique implicit benefit. So for example, Heist has reduced raising of alert level from opening chests, where Niles allows you to unlock one magical chest after the lockdown happened. Now, these things all don't really make sense if you haven't engaged with the mechanic itself, so we'll quickly go into this heist with Niles. Actually, I'll take Gianna, because Niles is already level 3 Deception. This job only requires level 2 Deception, and it's a relatively low level job for me. So I think I'm going to go with Gianna in order to help her grow her ability, because the rogues gain experience as you take them into jobs and level up in given abilities. Just like regular map items, you can transmute or alch these contracts. You can, however, not chisel them, because they're technically not maps. But they can have mods like reduced raising of alert level, increased time before lockdown, or the other one, and increased damage, reduced damage for monsters that are patrolling or guarding. Anyway, we'll go into that, and I think it will all make a lot more sense once we're going. So we take Gianna, we sign the contract. Here you see the fees that you have to pay. There's a travel fee for the Wayfinder, there's the hiring fee for the team, and then there's the cut that the ring takes. The ring of Heist Rogues, Heist ring, I don't know. And so a total of 349 rogue markers will have to be paid up front. So I press this, you see the 9 are gone and another 340 are withdrawn from my stash here. And then we open a portal and we go into the heist location. Now, you have to make sure to not go out here again, because currently, as far as I'm aware, there is a bug where you can land in the wrong Rogue Harbour instance, and you cannot go back because then there is no portal to your heist. So make sure you do this all in one go. In general, you have to do it all in one go, because that's how this mechanic works. The idea is that you have to steal one specific item. It says steal the staff of the first Sin Eater, which is like sort of an artifact that you can then sell to one of the guys in the Rogue Harbour in order to get more rogue markers to pay for future jobs. And on the way to the loot, which is usually at the very, very end of the heist job, as you can see here on the minimap, this is the item that we have to steal, and this is the way that we have to go. Now on the way there's doors that you can open just by clicking. There's doors that will require the specific ability that your rogue brings. And there is of course small loot chests as well as bigger loot chests behind locked doors. There is an alert level bar right here, and this bar fills up. Now previously, when the league started, the first couple of days, this alert level would fill up from monsters noticing you and you killing them. But now you can just walk through here. The only time that the alert level goes up is when you open chests or special loot chests. And of course, in the end, when you crack the glass of the storage for the protected item or for the main objective, then the alert level reaches the maximum regardless of how much you opened. And as soon as the maximum is reached, the lockdown timer is starting. And the lockdown timer per default, I believe, is around 20 seconds long. I might be wrong there, but it can be modified by, you know, increased time before lockdown. And there's also mercenaries that will allow you to have more time before the lockdown happens. Now, when the lockdown happens, all the reward chests on the way, everything is locked and you can't pick up loot anymore. So you have to make sure that before the lockdown timer, before the lockdown happens, you grab as much as possible. Now, the way that we do this is we try to, see, like I said, you can just kill these, free XP, nothing happens, no alert level goes up. So it's really basically free loot right now. That's why I also recommend you get into this as fast as possible. Now, when you hover one of these chests, it shows you how much alert level you will gain, right? This is completely fine. This is like three chests here in total. So these ones we can definitely open without raising it to 100, so we could just go full. But it may depend on what items you have on your rogues and what rogue you're going with. So always make sure you pay attention to that preview.
We're just looking around this way.
Right. So generally the idea is I want to grab as much as possible.
Stay in formation. This is a drill.
But in the time between the lockdown timer starting and the actual lockdown happening, you can still open chests. So you kind of want to make it so that you reach the maximum alert level before you go here. Like, basically my main step progression in a regular heist is first I want to make sure that the way is completely free to the main objective. And then once that is taken care of, I want to grab as much loot as far away from the main objective as possible. Like, leave the ones that are close, because those ones you can still grab once the alert is set off, once the lockdown timer is started. By the way, you can, instead of clicking these buttons, you can also press your lead button, which should be by default V. For me it's A, but you can also just press that button. Makes it a lot easier to engage with the content, to interact with the doors, right? Instead of clicking that little button, you could just hover the door and press A, and she will just go and do her thing. Deception, by the way, she pretends to be someone else. Super funny. Anyway, so we're opening this last thing now. But before we open this, right, we try to get our alert level as high as possible. Because this one will basically set off the alarm as soon as we have a little bit more, right? Like right now we could open it, but then we could open fewer small chests. So what I want to do is, like I said, I open up the way to the final loot. Takes a moment because we're not that fast.
Guards, weapons up.
Hey, you!
Quiet.
Let's open this. Make sure to protect your mercenaries, as they can be interrupted during the jobs. I don't know whether she can be interrupted because she's like doing weird stuff, but definitely lockpicking and engineering and that sort of stuff can be interrupted. Should probably pick the lockpicking thing. So you can open these safes here in the final room without raising alert level. These are usually very rewarding. Good stuff. Not like super rewarding, but more rewarding than the average small chest. And now that the room and everything is prepared, the way to the room, we're gonna open the reward chests that are the furthest away. Because I believe in the 20 seconds that we have or so, we can open these 4 and go there. We don't have to pick up the loot. We can pick up the loot on the way out, but you can't open the chests anymore. So we want to make sure that we get as many of these little ones. We can probably open everything.
Ooh, really good find.
Alright, so we don't need to walk here. Hey, the more we open beforehand, the better. Well, see, I'll leave these 2 because I want to just demonstrate how I do it if I already were a higher alert level. But, yeah, apparently we could just open these 2 and still set it off. But what you want to do is you want to open that thing, and then you get the lockdown timer, and now you can still open stuff on the way. So I open this, it removes 1 second from the timer, but should still be more than enough to get to the final thing if we don't mess it up. Oh, that was really close, but that's perfect. We got the staff, and now it's set off, right? Like now we got the alert. They know that there's intruders and that we're about to steal valuables. So there's a lot of enemies coming in, and there's these packs waiting in front of the doors. behind the choke points, right? So what you want to do generally when you go through them is you want to directly dash behind or to the side of them, because they'll all attack into this direction once you trigger them. So yeah, you definitely don't want to take the entire load into your face, but you want to make sure that you're standing behind them and dealing damage to them. You get items like this one, for example, which you can put onto your rogues. These are new bases that don't interact with anything that's in the game already. I don't think I need this fractured headman's sword. So let's go over. Oh, wait, we got the loot here. As you can see, there's no time pressure whatsoever. Obviously, you want to be fast because you want to get the maximum rewards out of this per time spent, but it's relatively easy to just do this slow at first and to learn how to do it properly, and then you can do it faster later. Don't stress yourself out at first, just learn the basics, and it will be very intuitive. So we're already almost made it out. Quickly gonna kill these packs because experience for my gems and everything. And then we go out, and the mercenary gets their experience. Gianna gained 333 deception experience, and she leveled up in deception, so she's rank 3 deception now. And of course, Aliyah, anyway, is waiting for us. And now through the portal, we can return to the Rogue Harbor. Now, we got a lot of stuff. Mostly, though, importantly, we got the main objective, which is the staff of the first Sin Eater. You need to get the objective for the heist to be completed successfully, for the contract to be fulfilled, and for the mercenary that you brought along to get their experience. If the job is not successful, they will not get experience, and you will lose all of the loot. You may have noticed that the loot that we picked up during the heist said it was contraband. There was like a certain symbol and a red line, and all of the loot that you pick up there is still in dispute before you get out, right? If you die in the mission, if you log out, or if you for some unfortunate reason disconnect or the game crashes, you lose all of the loot that you got inside of these heists. So make sure to respect that and to have that in mind. Now you can go to Foster's, which is the dealer, basically the how you call it, like the guy who buys all the illegal stuff, right? So you can give him the staff of the first Sin Eater. And you see, I get 1,164 rogue markers back, which is quite a bit of profit, considering I only invested like 300 something into that. So we get that back, but then we can also obviously sell all the other garbage to him that we don't need. But where the real rewards are at is the grand heists that we're going to go into in just a second, when I showed you the equip system for the mercenaries. Because any heist member can equip items, but these items have minimum requirements in the jobs. So heist members have generally, you can press your league key, V again. For me it's A, but for you it should be V per default. Any of these heist members can be equipped with gear for their job, with a clothing, with an amulet, and with a weapon slot, basically. So you got a weapon slot, a job slot, and an armor slot, so to say. And an amulet slot, which is a brooch, it's not an amulet. But anyway, these give nice bonuses, where they can be rolled, obviously, like your regular gear, and I think there's different base items that have better benefits, like this tattered cloak gives 3% reduced raising of alert level per default. This torn cloak only gives 2%, so this can spawn at a lower level already, and later on there's probably also going to be better ones for that. And then for every job, like lockpicking, there's standard lockpicks, there's like better lockpicking tools. Here there's a basic disguise kit, as you can tell from the name basic. There's probably a better one, like an advanced disguise kit, and you can roll these. They don't only have the implicit modifier, but you can also roll explicit modifiers, where generally these are all really good. Increased job experience gain, brute force speed, which is one specific job. Brute force is what Tibbs does, is basically just bashing through doors, right, with like with his hammer and his body weight. But they also have generic job speed. Some of them, I'm gonna try and find one. Here, this one has 9% job speed. So this increases the speed of the rogue at any job that they can do, right? In this case, perception and counter-thaumaturgy. There's also ones that increase like specific. Here, this one is deception. I think the main slot can, no, this one, see, this one has trap disarmament implicit, but explicit it has job speed, so it increases also other jobs, not just trap disarmament. So generally, if you're just starting out, I would recommend doing a lot of missions with Karst, like doing lockpicking, because Karst has the implicit 30% reduced raising of alert level from opening chests, which means early on when you don't have gear on your mercenaries, you can open a lot more chests in these jobs without setting off the alert. So that's kind of cool. Before you start a new job though, always make sure you empty your inventory as much as possible. You won't have all the members unlocked. You'll start with just a handful of members, but every time you do new jobs with existing members, you'll also be introduced to new members that they bring along for free, so to say, like a first, you know, how do you call it, like a training day kind of like thing where they show you what they can do, and then in the future you can hire them if you like their services. Now we're gonna open another portal to the Rogue Harbor because we got rid of the quest items. The quest items from the rogues themselves, you can always pick them up again. So I just threw something on the ground, right, that I had from one of the members for a specific quest job. But if I go back to, I think it was Tibbs. No, I don't know who it was, but they will offer you to be able to pick that up again. You can pick it up from them. So don't worry, you can always throw away the quest items. When the quest job comes up again, you'll be able to retrieve the item again. Don't have to keep them in your inventory at all times. Now, I think that sums up everything that I wanted to say about those dudes. Let us plan a grand heist. Let's do a really low one. So that's these have the real rewards of heist, right? These have